Yes. So multiple intelligences, many intelligences brains. Okay. Let me connect it to the classroom context. In class, we have different types of students, right? Suppose you have 35, 20, 40 students in your class, and you cannot claim that they all have same brain. Okay, they have different brains. This is what we call multiple intelligences. And as a language teacher, he or she has to think that there are many sorts of students, they have different abilities to learn. If they have different intelligences, if they have different brains, it means they have different abilities to learn. We cannot imagine same sort of learning ability of each and every student in the class, because we have different minds, we have different strategies to learn. Okay, some students learn very fast. Okay, they are quick learner, fast learner, right? And some other students they are weak. They are slow learner. Better to use slow learner. And in this respect, what we can do is language teacher can develop different sorts of activities, variations in the activities. Variations in the sense that difficulty level. Those students who are very faster learners, we can develop the activities for them a bit difficult, right? And for the students, those who are slower, for them we can develop some sort of easy activities, right? So to address these sorts of multiple intelligences, teacher has to think a lesson from different perspectives. Teacher has to develop materials, techniques and methods in a different way, because if they have different minds, the belief is that they do not learn in the same way, right? You have your own techniques, your mind is different than me, okay? My mind is different than you. Therefore, teachers do not have to think that my students have same sort of intelligence, same sort of mind, okay? Therefore, this presentation will focus on how to get the idea to understand students' multiple intelligences and what type of intelligences are there. One of the great scholar, Howard Gardner, has developed or found out 8 sorts of intelligences that human beings contain, okay? So he talks about it. So let me go to first slide. We will have these things. Multiple intelligences, it means mixed ability learners. If we have multiple intelligences, of course we will have mixed ability, right? And individual learner differences, they are similar terms. And for them, differentiated learner. Instructions. If our students' intelligences are different, then we should have differentiated instruction, differentiated methods also, right? So our focus will be this morning we will talk about mixed ability or multiple intelligences. We will talk about factors that lead to learning differences. What are the factors that lead students learn differently? And next one is how to develop techniques or differentiated or different instructions or methods and techniques for those students, those who have different mind setups. So my first opinion in this presentation will be give emphasis on what students learn, but not what teacher teaches. So focus on students, because every student's brain functions differently, process information differently, and store information differently. Therefore, methods and techniques and way of teaching should not be developed on the basis of teacher's mindset of teacher's perspective, but mainly on the basis of students' mindset of. on the basis of student psychology, on the basis of students' intelligences, on the basis of students' level of learning. Though teachers' role is there, that's fine. Teachers' autonomy is there. Teachers' responsibility is there. But if language teacher develops materials without considering a student's ability and the student's psychology, your techniques and lesson planning is not going to work anymore. Therefore, both should be kept in consideration. Number one, teacher and students, but mainly student. Okay, so that's one. Now I want to make it clear with the help of this picture. In the first picture, you could see a buffalo and two people, and how they are taking buffalo. They are not using mind, but they are using their energy. And that is what is not going to work. If you just impose your energy to your students, if you just force your students to learn something, that's not going to work. But for that, what you have to do, come to second picture, you have to be very clever. Creativity. You have to use creativity. Look, in second picture, buffalo is going very nicely, very smoothly, and a person is enjoying on back of the buffalo, and energy is not needed very much, but creativity is needed. So in the classroom with the students, teacher has to use creativity like this. Do not work hard, work intelligent. Look, in the first picture, they have spent their very much energy and they had not got their work done. They haven't got their work done. But in second picture, a person has not used very much energy. He had just used his creativity, he's intelligent, but he has got his work done. That's what teacher has to do in class. If we impose our ideology, if we impose our instructions only without understanding student psychology, we are not going to achieve our objective. If we work intelligent, if we work according to students, if we use our creativity, then the condition will follow the pictures number second. Okay, so that's what we call working intelligent. Okay, so what are the multiple intelligences then? Gardner, as I already mentioned, brought the notion into instructional diversification with the theory of MI, multiple intelligence, MI. Okay, and what he says? He says, excuse me, he says the learners in any class are both similar and different. Their way of learning may be similar of some students, okay, and that's different also. And he also says an understanding of such similarities and differences help teachers determine what to teach and how to teach it. So if we understand, if we language teachers understand the students' similarities and students' differences, then we can better prepare our materials, our way of techniques, teaching techniques, right? How to deal with some similar, the students who have similar sort of intelligence, similar sort of learning abilities. If we distinguish that, if we identify that, we will have, let's say, better understanding to develop materials and techniques. And he also says students in classroom may come from different socio-economic background. Some may find language easy, but others may find it difficult. Some may feel very happy most of the time, and some other may feel very unhappy. Some of the students may have special needs, such as hearing difficulties, poor eyesight, or difficulty sitting still. Okay? If we understand these diversifications, these differences, then we can better prepare. As you said yesterday in your class, some of the students, they walked very fast, and they did the activities very soon, right? Than the other students. And you had to provide them extra activity. Therefore, I asked you to prepare extra activity for those students. Yeah. So thinking such diversification, and some of the students, they finished very late. Okay, so thinking that diversification in the classroom and working, considering students' different multiple intelligences, thinking about students' ability of learning, teacher has to develop different sorts of activity. Now, there is no any hard and watertight technique to use in the classroom, but you can contextualize, you can think of the technique that on the basis of your classroom context. Okay, therefore students may have some sort of special needs. They may need some special needs, like some students have poor eyesight. Now for them, what to do? It's teacher's job to think about all sorts of diversification in the classroom. Okay, yes. And next one, this gentleman in 2012 says, learners in any given class are characterized by a wide variety of individual differences, wide varieties. And students who are of same age differ in their readiness to learn, even if they are similar in age, but are they ready to learn or not? Some students may be ready, some may not. Those who are ready, that's fine, but those who are not ready, what to do? Motivate them. So motivation needs a sort of preparation. It depends on teacher how he or she is going to prepare motivational activities. Okay, and their interest, their style of learning, their experiences, and their life circumstances. These things may make our students different from one another, right? Okay, so grouping people according to their ability would seem a logical way to allow all pupils to achieve their potential. So distinguish similar students, find out different students, and do accordingly, group them accordingly. Mixed ability class is a social mixed, but relies heavily on expertise of the teacher. So if teacher is not expert, if teacher is not very clever, if language teacher is not gonna work his creativity, okay, in the classroom, if doesn't observe students' multiple intelligences, now your language classroom, your objectives, you are not gonna achieve in an effective manner. Teachers need to recognize that a class is mixed ability because children have different strengths and weaknesses and develop at different rates. So children have different strengths and weaknesses, and our class is not similar sort of class, but our class is mixed ability class. Mixed ability, because some students, they do very fast, some other students, they do very slow. So that's mixed one. Therefore, this is very challenging situation for teacher, because one method is not gonna work. Okay, if you think only one method, or if you become rigid in selecting method, that's not gonna work anymore, because you need to think from multiple perspectives, because your students are of multiple intelligences in your classroom. Yes, they have different preferences. Students have different preferences, styles for learning and displaying their work. Some students may like to listen and learn something. Some students may like visualize something they see and do something. Some students want to just work with their body. They want to move their body, as we discussed in total physical response method. Okay, so some students are auditory, some students are visual, some students are kinesthetic. They want to move, use their body when they start to learn something, right? So group work may work for kinesthetic students, and as I told you, you could have called some students in front instead of just asking them in their seats. So those students who are kinesthetic, those students who want to learn by moving, just using their body parts, they love going in front and act different in different way. Therefore, different types of students are there. You should not consider that classroom is a same sort of environment. It has different types of students. Okay, so yes, next one is some of the factors that lead to learning differences then. So what are the some of the factors that make learning difference, that make students learn differently? Okay, number one, age and gender. Age and gender. Number two, personality traits and cognitive ability. Cognitive ability is mental ability. Okay. Number three, cognitive development stage and motivation. Some students are so much motivated, they want to learn very fast. If students are not motivated, it becomes really difficult for teacher to get them to learn, right? Therefore, first of all, motivation is very, very important. As we do in warmer activity, why is warmer activity developed? This is for motivating students, because we do not directly enter into our classroom, into our context of teaching and teaching item, but before that we motivate our students. We manage our class. That's what we call motivation. So next one is socio-economic status. Some students have different socio-economic status and educational background. And educational background also makes difference in selecting students' intelligence, right? Okay, so preferred learning style and strength. Some students, you may not try writing, you may like speaking, okay, to learn something. You may not try like reading, or you may like reading. I cannot guarantee, I cannot impose my particular method to learn in you, because you have your own way of learning, your own way of using, let's say, learning styles. You have your own strength of learning. Therefore, we need to recognize our students' strength and learning styles. And not only we need to give them proper content, but also we have to learn them, we have to make them learn learning styles. We have to recognize and we have to understand our students' learning styles. How can they learn? On the basis of their learning styles, we can select different sorts of methods, and we can develop and prepare methodologies and, let's say, materials in the classroom. So that's what, these are some of the factors that make learning differences, right? And next one is language proficiency level. Yes, some students have better language, they have good language, they have good fluency, they have good accuracy, but there are some other students, they may not have good proficiency level of language. Therefore, if we do not consider these both sorts of students in the classroom, we are not gonna achieve our goal. Okay? Therefore, we need to think that we have to have variations in the materials. We have to have variations in the techniques. Okay? So while selecting techniques, we don't have to be rigid in one, but we have to be flexible. We have to be, we need to adapt different sorts of methods in the classroom. So these are some of the factors to make learning differences. So different types of intelligences, as Gardner talks, and he says linguistic intelligence first. Now, what type of students fall under this intelligence then? The students who have linguistic intelligence, they have ability to learn language in which writers, lawyers, editors, interpreters are good at. Okay? So if our students have this intelligence, linguistic intelligence, our students are, the characteristics of those students are as we find in lawyers, editors, interpreters, and writers. Mostly these people are good at learning language. Okay? Our students may have this ability. Okay? So according to Gardner, he categorizes 9 intelligences that human beings contain. And number next is logical or mathematical intelligence. This refers to capacity to analyze problems logically, carry out mathematical operations in which scientists and engineers or doctors are good at. So doctors, scientists, engineers, they want logic. So our students in the classroom may have this sort of intelligence. If we do not understand their ability, their intelligence, we may not get success. I mean, we may not be successful in our teaching and learning language. Therefore, this is another intelligence that he sets. Next one is visual and spatial. This is the ability to learn mental modes of the world in which painters, decorators, architects are good at. Now you will find out which intelligence do you have from there, Ryan, after we discuss this one, right? What you are good at. Okay, so this one is next one. And next one is musical intelligence. Some of our students may have musical intelligence. This is what it says. It says musical intelligence indicates skills in the performance, composition, and appreciation of musical patterns, as in singers and composers. Singers and composers, they are good at musical, let's say, type of things. So this is another intelligence. Next one is bodily kinesthetic. This is related to our body. Students, those who want to work with the help of their body parts, they fall under this category. And this is a potential to use one's whole body or body of parts of the body to solve the problems, as in athletes, craft persons, right? Next one is interpersonal, capacity to understand the intention, motivations, and desire of other people, in which teachers, salespersons, and politicians are good at, right? And next one is interpersonal, is a capacity to understand oneself, to appreciate one's feelings, fears, and motivations, and apply one's talent successfully, which leads to happy and well-adjusted life. Next one is naturalistic intelligence. This is it means able to recognize, categorize, and draw often certain features of the environment. So this is according to Gardner. Now you can identify and categorize your intelligence on the basis of these categorizations. Which one you are good at, we will talk at last, okay? So you can see there in handout also. So what should be done to address these multiple intelligences of the students in them? This is the question. So what we can do is, individuals should be encouraged to use their preferred intelligences in learning. Individual means individual attention. Teacher has to give individual attention to the students, try to understand individual student, ability, psychology, everything. Then we have to focus on the learning style that our students have. Okay? So that's one. Next one is instructional activities should appeal to different forms of intelligences. The activities, the methods, the planning that we do should address our students' intelligences, our students' interest and abilities. Now the next is assessment of learning should measure multiple forms of intelligences. We assess our students. We have, let's say, measurement. We assess our students, we take our students, and that should be measured with the help, on the basis of our students' multiple intelligences. It means, if some students are not good at writing, okay, if they are good at speaking, so that speaking also should be measured, not only writing. Most of the tests in language classes or around the world have based on written test only. But we have to assess, we have to have the examination, and we have to test our students on the basis of their overall performance. Okay? That may be speaking, listening, everything. So that's one. And next one is, what we will discuss is, so what are such activities that fit each type of multiple intelligences then, as we discussed, that linguistic intelligence, mathematical intelligence, what are the activities then? Number one is linguistic and verbal. So those students who have linguistic intelligence, we can assign the activities like this: note taking. They can take note in the classroom, okay? And storytelling and debates. We can conduct these activities for those students, those who has linguistic ability. Okay, logical, mathematical, and puzzles, games, logical, sequential, presentation, clarifications, and categorizations. Next one is visual spatial. charts and grids and visuals, videos, drawings, we can ask them to draw. And musical, we can ask students sing songs, playing music, jazz chants, or etc. Bodily kinesthetic intelligence. If our students have this intelligence, we can have field trips. We can have hand-on activities. Field trips means our students can go to fields and they can collect information, right? And next one is interpersonal pair work, project work, group problem solving, because interpersonal, those students who have this interpersonal intelligence, they want to talk much. Therefore, group work, project work is very good for them. Okay, next one is intrapersonal, self-motivational type of activities, journal keeping, options for homework. Journal keeping, they can write journal, etc. So these are some of the activities that we can use to fit to each intelligences. And what is differentiated instruction or mixed ability teaching then? How can we teach if we have different types of students in our class? If our students have different abilities, many children do not achieve their potential because they are told to make a journey, but they have no map. If we ask our students, okay, to do the work without giving them proper instructions, it's like putting our students in a lake without making them learn swimming. Okay, therefore we will never do that. We promise we will not ask our students to make a journey without providing them a map. We will provide map. It means we will give them clear instruction, clear ideas, then only we will ask them to learn language. We will not ask them to have a journey, to make a journey without providing them map. Okay, that's one. Next one is teacher acts as role models for learning and teach students how to become independent and effective learners. Modeling is very, very important. You are a role model for your students. Next one is the teaching strategies and how to be resourceful. So strategies may be different, and you have to have good resources, because you are the full to make your students provide your students different types of materials to learn. Motivation takes place if students understand aim of lesson. So what they are going to learn, if they know that, they can be motivated. And though there are different types of motivational skills also. Yes. So what should teacher do then? What teacher has to do here to do that? Adopt problem solving to any difficulties identified and experiment with a range of approaches, different approaches needed. Play a role as a teacher and facilitator, as we did in our class. Reflect on classroom practice, as we did reflecting practice. You came from your classroom teaching and you reflected on you, and I also provided you feedback. You addressed different types of weaknesses and good things and made your lesson good for the next day. So that's reflective practice is very, very important. What worked in your class very well, what didn't work, okay, what to add, what to reduce for the tomorrow's lesson. So everything we need to think. Now what teacher has to address then to achieve effective language learning? Individual needs should be addressed of the students. Learning preferences should be addressed of the students. Learning style should be taken into consideration of the students. Collaborative group work is very, very important. How to make responsibility for students' learning. We have to make our students responsible for their learning, and students' diversity, and provide learning opportunity to the students. Okay, so these are some of the references that I read and took here. Thank you.